All right, you guys, in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to make handles and how to attach them to one of these slab mugs that you learned how to do already. Now that you have the cut portion of your mug made, your seam is blended and the bottom is attached, now it's time to make some handles. So I have a few here as examples. We're going to attach one of these to the cup. So let's see how to make it. First, you're gonna take a chunk of clay that's about the size of a golf ball, and then you're gonna work it into a coil. So roll it between your hands, get it on your surface. Focus on getting this even in your width, and then once you have it about the width you want, then you can work on the middle area. I like to tap the edges and then get it stuck to my surface straight up. And then I'll use my fingers of each hand, my index and thumb, to do this pinching move. And it essentially is gonna make it into the shape of a diamond all the way up. We're doing this because it will mimic the shape of the hand. So if you look at your hand, you see the way that your each joint kind of creates like an inverted circle. That's going to mimic, the handle will mimic that shape there. So I did this about 4 or 5 times total, and then it's time to smooth out the surface. So you're gonna have these little ripples on there where your finger and your thumb were pinching. So we wanna just smooth that out. You can take some water here if you want. Just be careful not to add too much water. A lot of people pull their handles with a lot of water, and that's fine. This is a different method. It's kind of a hybrid method. So we wanna limit the amount of water. At this point, we're going to shape it. So I set it down on the side, and I'm using my thumb to compress the inside while my index fingers on the outside are kind of pushing the ends towards each other. We want to get a nice even curve here. Be careful that you don't just grab the ends and round it off like with one like huge like strong move. When we do that, it's common to crack the outside. So we want to do this very gently and do it so that we're not having to repair a bunch of cracks. Sometimes those cracks can be repaired, other times they come back to life later. So at this point now, I'm creating a little bit of a flat top. I like when my handles are somewhat flat and then kind of have a corner and then they curve down. So sometimes you want to just like a C-shaped handle. This one is going to be a variation on that, and as we proceed through this video, you'll see what I mean. So I'm just fine-tuning here, making sure the edges are rounded, making sure that we have a nice continuous curve and that I don't have a bunch of bumps. Take your time here and get it good. We're going to smooth it out so that when we have it attached to the cup and we've made our mug, we don't have to do a bunch of adjusting later. So now take your cup, set it on top, and mark it. We're marking where we're going to cut so that we have an idea of how it's gonna line up with the cup. If you just kind of cut it without doing that, you might end up with a weird gap. And that's because the shape of your cup is going to vary depending on what you're doing, where you're putting it. So that was the soft one that I just cut. Now I have a handle that was made earlier that's firmed up now. We always want to let our handles firm up before we attach them. Sometimes it's like maybe like an hour worth of out of the bag time. This one was made earlier, so it's firm and it's ready. Notice how I'm holding one part of the handle and the other part is not wobbling or shaking. It is firm, but it's still soft enough for me to cut and to do the next step, which is going to be making the ends of the handle shaped to conform to the cup. So the cup obviously is rounded, so we want the ends to be rounded. Once you've done that, you're gonna take some water and a scratcher tool, and you're going to simultaneously wet and scratch the clay. What we're trying to do here is create clay Velcro. So you wanna get it nice and rough, and you wanna get it like pasty, like slip on the surface. Once you've done that to the handle, you're going to determine where exactly you want the handle to set on the cup. I like to even it out top to bottom, and so that there's an equal amount of space above the handle and below the handle. You also want to make sure that it's in line vertically, so it's not crooked. Once you have that, you just set it down on your cup, and the Velcro, the clay slip that you made, will transfer over. But you can use a tool like I just did to mark where it needs to be scratched, and then you'll scratch it, wet and scratch it really well. Remember, we're making clay Velcro here. And then set it on where it's gonna go. Make sure that you have it in position before you squish it down. So get it placed. And then while supporting the inside of your mug, you're going to squish it on there. There you go. Hand inside the mug was when we really push it down. We're going to support it. And it's really important, again, that your handle was not made like right before you attach it. You can see that I'm using my hands to press pretty firmly on the clay here, on this clay handle. If you don't let it firm up, when you're pushing in right here, you'll be distorting and misshaping your handle. So all that work you did to make a nice, clean handle will be ruined. So make sure that you follow these steps. I know it's hard to wait. Sometimes waiting through the process is the hardest part. I think I remember a famous singer saying, "The waiting is the hardest part." Well, anyways, once you've got that attached really well, you'll see that the slip that you created, that clay Velcro, got pushed out to the edges. So as I'm fine-tuning the handle here, you guys can anticipate what I'm gonna do next. What will I do? Can you guess? Well, I'm not done fine-tuning the handle. Make sure it's fine-tuned really well. Now I've got this handy-dandy tool right here. This might be a like a metal paring knife or something. This is a fettling knife. You're gonna use it to go ahead and just remove the clay Velcro, the slip that you made, that's squished and squeezed out of the side. Some potters like to just wait until that's dry and then they remove it. I like to do it when it's wet, especially when I'm doing a demo, because I can do it all quickly. But again, sometimes the waiting is the hardest part, and sometimes you just need to give it some time. So I'm gonna use the edge here, and I'm just gonna kind of like cut away some of it. You'll see if it's really a small amount, I'll just like blend it in, just so I'm not scratching the clay on the cup. So you want to be really careful here that you're not like creating extra work for yourself by scratching the cup. So you're just going to kind of like cleanly remove it, and then you're going to bring your tool back once you clean off your tool. And every little spot on here, you want to go about it methodically and remove away that extra slip. This is a good opportunity here to kind of reshape the articulation between the handle and the cup. So if you need to like reshape the way that that handle terminates and joins with the cup, then do it now. Then we'll take a toothbrush, or you could take a sponge and get it wet, but not dripping wet. And you're gonna sort of polish it and smooth it out. This will help to take away any of those chunks that got kind of squished in. This will allow you to kind of close up any seams that you have and remove those chunks. You're gonna often rinse off your brush and tap it against a sponge so it's not dripping wet. And then you'll take your fingers back and you'll just smooth out any little spots that need to be smoothed. Your fingers and your hands are your best tool. So learning how to use those efficiently and effectively when you're working with clay is so valuable. You'll see so many areas that you can fix as you're working on this. If you look closely, you'll see where you can smooth and blend. And it's very important that you take care of that now at this stage when you can actually fix it. The level of craftsmanship that you achieve is based on your willingness to look closely at the details and fix the things that do not look good. So take your time, do it well, and you'll have a nice piece that you'll be proud of. Now it's ready for decoration. Well, Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you later.